My dad is pretending my wedding is not happening. So my dad has always been a very show-off person. Announcements about grades, telling everyone how great his daughters are doing, telling off my sister for having a job that he can't show off. When he divorced from my mum, he was a good parent for a while, and then he met Eva. Eva is way younger, has had a lot of work done, and used to send him flirty messages when he was still married. They got married very early on in the relationship because they've known each other ages. She told him not to text us too much because we are adults. She checks his phone all the time. She forbade him from seeing us Christmas Day or St. Stephen's Day because he needed to be with his new family. And it would have been disrespectful to her for him to see his ex-wife, and she's overall been an absolute nightmare. And he follows everything she tells him to do. Now I'm getting married, and I told my dad he's invited, but she is not. I've met the woman once, and I don't like her. Plus, I know my father isn't a great person, and he'd be making jabs at my mum about being older than Eva, etc. To make it fair, my mum's boyfriend is also not invited, although he's a sweetheart. My dad's answer to my invite has been to pretend nothing is happening. I sent him a save the date, and he sent me a thumbs up emoji. He hasn't asked me one question about the wedding, not even the venue, even though he told me shortly before meeting Eva that he was looking forward to me and my sister getting married and how excited he was. Myself and my fiancé are different religions and cultures, so everyone's had lots of questions about how we are handling that. Turns out, he hasn't told Eva that I'm getting married, and he hasn't told anyone else, so he's just planning to say that he has a work trip and come to the wedding. I don't actually think he is going to show up. I think he will say he's going to, and then not show at the last minute, but my sister thinks he'll show up with her and make a whole scene because he told her Eva has just as much right to be there as your mum. Anyone else dealt with something similar? Do I need a backup to walk me down the aisle? In the comments, Sailor Spyro says, I just want to point out that your dad is in an abusive relationship. His new wife is cutting him off from his family, his support system, so that she can have more control over him. He probably won't be allowed to go to the wedding because she's not invited, and probably wouldn't have been allowed to even if she was. Your dad is an ass all on his own. But I think it's important to recognize that he's still capable of being abused and that it's happening. OP says, yes, they both suck. He has always been a cheater. At least 3 other women during the span of the 10 years that we have evidence of, and I think no evidence. He was cheating on my mum with her, so that's why she's constantly monitoring his phone and not allowing him to leave the house. We told him not to marry her and that her behavior is very concerning, but he seems very blind. Grumpy Smiler says, it sounds like he wants to come, and he knows the only way him coming without his wife is possible is if he lies about it. He's risking getting caught to be able to go, which speaks volumes about their relationship, but if she checks his phone, you're causing further risk of her finding out if you keep messaging him about the wedding. Stick to phone calls so that there is no record. I hope he can make it, and there's no drama. OP says, I rang him the first time to tell him that I was getting married, and then sent him the save the date the second time asking if he was coming. I didn't know that he hadn't told her at the time. I have no idea why the wife wouldn't let him go to his daughter's wedding though, if she's as amazing as he says. OP on why his mum's boyfriend isn't invited. Far more drama if I include him and exclude Eva. It's not worth the headache. He will for sure not show up if I invite my mum's boyfriend and not his wife. My mum understands that even though my dad is not the best dad ever, I still want him there. They haven't been together that long, so she's okay with her boyfriend staying at home. Plus, then he can stay with the dogs, and she doesn't have to worry about getting a dog sitter. Most of the family is going as well, so there's nobody to look after them. And now, onto the update. So it turns out, my dad ended up telling Eva about my wedding and telling her that she was invited to the wedding to avoid problems. She got herself a dress, booked a hotel, etc. My dad tried to convince me to invite her, but his biggest selling point was that he thought it'd be an amazing time to introduce Eva to my mum and my mum's whole family. Why he would think that my mum wants to meet this woman is beyond me. and that she would feel excluded otherwise. He always rubs in our faces his new family, even calling it his new family. Keeps cancelling every dinner he sets up with my sister due to some emergency involving Eva, or telling us to call Eva Mum. Both me and my sister are way beyond the point of calling some randomer Mum, since we both moved out, and he's being ridiculous. He called me again and again, trying to convince me, and I said no, explaining that I knew the only reason he wanted to bring his wife to the wedding was to upset Mum, and that I wasn't going to let the two of them do that. He makes jabs at my mum every time he's around her about how great his new wife is. I thought the whole thing was over until I sent him some information about the wedding, and I guess he started feeling guilty and told us that he booked the flight for Eva as well, and he booked himself on the same flight as my mum. Changed his whole flight plans just so that he could be on the flight with her, so that my mum and Eva could still meet. AKA, he could still rub his new wife in her face and try and screw with my mum's head by putting her down and making comparisons. And then Eva would just go off and shop while he was at the ceremony. I'm not sure if this is true or if he was just going to try and bring her to the wedding and hope she didn't get kicked out. I'm trying to convince my mum to change her flight so that he can't get inside her head 12 hours before the wedding. I don't know if I should uninvite him. In the comments, Zoe Fiona says, "Oh my god, yes. What has your mum done to you that you would facilitate hurting her? Why does he know so many details of your mum's travel plans?" OP says, "She's the main reason I haven't uninvited him yet. She keeps saying that I need to have a relationship with him and being more understanding. He knows because he asked, and we figured that he was trying to avoid being on the same flight as her." And now for the newest update. Wedding has happened. It just took a bit of time to update because it's my life and it all went south and was too raw to try to write it in a coherent way. It still probably won't be super coherent. Okay, so update. I asked him to change his flight because he had specifically asked me what flight my mum was on so he could avoid her. And my mum was flying with my grandpa, so it would have been quite hard to change their flights to avoid him. My dad told me he would change flights and that he would invent some lie to tell Eva. He also said that I was a horrible person for not believing him when he told me that he had not booked the flight out of spite, but he told my mum that he booked the flight on purpose so that she could meet his new wife, and what reason would there be for wanting them to meet other than to be an asshole? I thought the whole thing was resolved, and my mum was really adamant that she wanted my dad to be there because I don't have a great relationship with him, and she knew that it would have meant the end of the relationship if I uninvited him. Fast forward to 2 days after the conversation, my dad rebooked his flight and sent me a message to say that he had changed flights. Then that evening he calls me. I answered the phone, and I could hear someone screaming down the phone. Turns out Eva got her hands on my dad's phone, read the messages where I asked him to reschedule the flight, and she rang me shouting down the phone that I am unhinged, I am a horrible person, I am effed in the head. She said that I am so weird because I'm in my 30s and I still talk to my parents. This one was really weird because what? Am I meant to stop at a certain age? And that I'm jealous of the fact that my dad has a new life. I was very calm and said that I'm sorry she's upset, that the issues around the wedding aren't really related to her directly, and that my dad was trying to upset my mum. I also said my mum's partner is not coming either, so it wouldn't be fair to have her there. She started shouting that my mum was a fat old cow, and I lost it. I absolutely lost it. In this whole thing, my mum has said nothing bad about Eva. I told her that I never had any issue with her until now, but that she's a crazy bitch who is super controlling, and that I was so glad I never invited her. Then I hung up, because by that stage, it had been 2 minutes of her shouting at me, and I didn't feel like there was any point in talking any longer. The whole time this was going on, my dad was in the background saying feebly, "Oh no, don't be mad," at her, while she was shouting down the phone at me. Anyway, next day my dad calls me and says that Eva was upset because he didn't tell her about changing the flights and that I was awful for responding to her like that. He also said, "Do you really think this is my fault?" And I said yes. And he said, "Do you really refuse to take any responsibility? None of this would have happened if you had invited her like I asked you to." And I said, "Does he actually think he has any say in my wedding when he didn't even ask me what type of ceremony I had, never asked to see my dress, or get involved in any way, monetary or otherwise?" He asked me if he was still invited, and I said, "Obviously not." He then told me to be careful about what I wrote in my messages to him because she was monitoring his phone, and I said that I'm not speaking to him again, so that won't be a problem. The wedding was good, my mum walked me down the aisle, and there was nobody there to cause drama. So in the end, it all worked out for the best. The whole thing was just a lot more dramatic than I originally thought it would be. We thought he might end up not coming because he was too entangled in his lies, but for sure did not expect the call I got. And it was very close to the wedding when all the drama happened. In the comments, Tack Wombat says, "Dad was a horrible partner to OP's mother, and now he's stuck with a horrible partner, and his children want nothing to do with him. He made that bed, and he should enjoy lying in it. Has to tell his daughter to be careful what she texts because he's being monitored, and doesn't think that's a problem? He is definitely in an abusive relationship. No one can help him unless he wants to be helped, and he sounds like he doesn't want help. I can see why OP wouldn't want any part of that situation. Eva is completely crazy. Her father has no backbone, except when it comes to putting his ex-wife down with his current wife. It's a good thing that he wasn't invited to the wedding. He would have ruined everything. Lying to Eva that she's invited is even bizarre, and he has the audacity to blame OP for all of this happening. I don't even feel bad for him. I think he enjoys the situation that he's created for himself. I don't even think it's a case of like Stockholm Syndrome. I think this is a man that is just genuinely bored in life and needs excitement through causing chaos. And unfortunately, that chaos comes at the expense of all of his interpersonal relationships that are actually healthy for him. Because he's decided that a controlling, abusive woman is better than everyone else in his life. Congratulations on the consequences of your actions, you absolute dickhead. To OP's father I say, you deserve it. And before that last update as well, OP talks about keeping her father in his life because OP's mother says, "I need to have a relationship with him and be more understanding." I get where those words are coming from. I understand why someone would say that because they're like, look, we're all gonna die one day. You might regret not giving that relationship another shot, and you'll miss your father when he is dead. You might as well try and have a relationship, be more understanding because he could have changed by now, he could be a better man. You never know. It might be a redeemable relationship. But I don't like that advice. And I'm biased. I'm not going to say that everyone should ignore that advice. It's just that if someone has good reason not to have a relationship with someone that has hurt them and continues to hurt them and that person that is giving advice, I myself am going to ignore you and keep that boundary up with that person and say thank you for that opinion. It's great that you have opinions and you have things that you would like in this world, and those are fantastic opinions, but they are not going to sway me and my actions. I am not going to be listening to that advice, and I urge you not to give that advice to other people in the future. Once again, that's me being biased. Everyone's situation is different. Our next post was cross-posted from the wedding planning subreddit by user Alexia Grace, and it's titled, "Family member is furious we stole her wedding month. She didn't have anything booked or a specific date identified and didn't speak up until now." So my cousin got engaged September 2024. We got engaged May 2025. We had a conversation with her about wedding stuff shortly after we got engaged, and she mentioned wanting to get married around March or April 2026, with no confirmed plans or specific date. Soon after, my fiancé and I determined we wanted to get married around the same time frame for the nicer weather and to avoid price increases. Also, I personally didn't want to be engaged longer than a year. Where we live is extremely hot in the summer, so spring and fall are definitely the wedding seasons. We let them know this and asked if they had chosen a specific date. They still hadn't, and didn't say anything about us planning for that time of year. I didn't see any issue getting married around the same months, as long as it wasn't the exact same weekend. I thought this was normal. I really thought that it would be nice to celebrate around the same time and go through this milestone together. Silly me. They mentioned touring a couple of venues, but didn't love them and hadn't booked anything. We mentioned our potential dates to them before booking. We shared with them when we visited venues. They didn't raise any issues. In October, we booked a venue for late April 2026 and told them. Since then, we've hung out many times, and she seemed completely normal and we got along. Recently, we were asking family for addresses for save the dates, and she became radio silent and wouldn't fill out the form. She would text us about other stuff like nothing was wrong, which was odd. We sent her and her fiancé several reminders about the address form, and still nothing. After a few weeks of this, we told her it's rude and confusing to be completely unresponsive about the address request. She then blew up at us and told us it's bizarre and completely rude to have booked their wedding month, and that we basically ruined all their wedding plans. To be clear, this is 2.5 months after we booked our date and told her. To my knowledge, they still hadn't booked anything or even confirmed a specific date they want. She said there's no way our family from across the state could make it to both hers and ours, and we knew that and did it on purpose, and that we were stealing their anniversary. She said that it's common sense and everyone knows to not book the same month as someone else planning in the same family, and can't believe that she even had to say anything. I truly have never heard that in my life. I've been a bridesmaid 4 times. I've attended weddings that were close to each other, and I never thought anything of it. It's not a destination wedding. Some family members will have to drive like 7 hours if they want to come. Many are local. I feel completely blindsided. I even checked past texts to see what her response was when we first told her the date. She just said cool, and said she was thinking of a courthouse wedding weeks before that. I told her that she could have expressed this sooner, and I didn't understand how she expected us to know how she felt when she never said anything. If she had mentioned something sooner, we could have considered a different date, but now we've paid all the deposits and stuff. She proceeded to call us assholes, insist that it was obvious/common sense, say we know what we did, imply that we screwed her over intentionally, and choosing the date wasn't about the weather. I told her it really had nothing to do with her, and it's weird to make our wedding about her. But she's not having it. I pointed out that when we booked our date, they had already been engaged for a year, and if she felt that strongly about the date, which is already quite soon, then she should have booked something or told us one specific date to avoid. I don't understand feeling such strong ownership over an entire month when nothing was booked, and it's common for a lot of people to get married in spring. I think our relationship with her is suddenly over. Am I crazy? In the comments, History in Wonderlust says, if she doesn't have a date now for April, she won't have one in April. It sounds like something is going on that's preventing them from planning the wedding. Maybe it's just procrastination, maybe it's finances, maybe it's relationship issues. But she's taking out her anger on you because you booking something is making it obvious that she hasn't. Plan your wedding, have a great time, and just let her figure out how to manage her emotions on her own. She's jealous that you were light years ahead of them when it comes to planning. A hunch tells me that they're having relationship issues, and that's why they haven't booked anything. She's spiraling, but it's not your fault. OP says, context, she's been with her man for 9 years. I've been with mine for 3 years. I think she might be salty that we moved along faster. Lol, yeah. I have friends who act that way. They've been dating their partners for 5+ years, and I've only been dating mine 2 years when we got engaged. They aren't engaged yet. The reactions can be really weird. Back up to the post, there's an update. So we had some back and forth over text. I reminded her that she never actually had any date reserved, and she should have said something early on if it bothered her. She told us to stop harassing her. Lol, I definitely wasn't. that she already explained the common sense thing and you're still being assholes, and to leave her alone. I sent her the screenshot of when we texted her the date, and all she said was cool. I might do something on this other date. So there's no way for us to have known that she was secretly upset. She made it clear that she doesn't want to come. I removed her from the guest list and blocked her. I'm pretty sure she blocked me too. I'm frustrated and a little sad, but I do not need someone causing drama and saying lies about me all my life. What? She continuously failed to communicate about her own wedding date, and now she's angry that you stole her wedding month? What? She's been in a relationship for 9+ years and is now mad that you're moving things along faster and is being exposed? What? No. Say it ain't so. It's your fault that her relationship isn't going as well as it should be, OP. This is obviously your fault. Because it's so obvious that she already explained the common sense thing and you're being an asshole and harassing her. Definitely not projection, OP. There's no projection going on here. In fact, I just had a lobotomy, and I think you're the asshole for this one. As lobotomized Redditors say, you're the asshole to yourself for still being friends with this jerk. I'm 13 and this is deep. I'm glad that you blocked her and that she blocked you, OP. I think it's better off that someone this childish doesn't stay in your life. Our next post is by Throwing Party 15284, titled, "Am I the asshole for telling my sister that you were selfish and cancelling her engagement dinner at my place? I have a younger sibling, and it seems like I'm always helping her. In college, I would help her with essays. I would listen to her problems. If she got stuck somewhere, I would go and pick her up. She's 24, and it's gotten pretty clear that she doesn't reciprocate helping out or does any favors for family. My brother and I have both noticed it. I had a conversation with her about it, and she said she would do better. Recently, she asked if she could use my house for her engagement dinner, and I agreed. It was a big favor in my opinion, and I've been helping plan it. My sister lives very close to my kids' daycare. I left work, and on the way home there was a huge crash on the highway. I wasn't moving at all. It took me 4 hours to get home. My husband was also stuck in it. The daycare called, asking where I was, and I told them that I'm trying to get there. They bill an extra $100 for every 30 minutes you were late. I called my sister and asked her to pick the kids up and just hold on to them for a few hours until I can grab them. She told me no and that she wanted to relax tonight. I told her that I really need her to do this favor because I was stuck and it didn't seem like I would be moving anytime soon. I told her that I'll Venmo her the money for the daycare, but to please pick them up. She told me no again and hung up. I ended up calling my mother-in-law, who was an hour away, and she was able to pick the kids up and stay at our place until we got back at around 9. I was in traffic for 4 hours. To be honest, I've been pissed since that happened last Thursday. I've helped her over and over again, and she could not do me a simple favor when she is literally 10 minutes away from the daycare because she wanted to relax. I talked it over, and my husband and I both agreed that we were done helping her. I sent her a text that said, family is supposed to help each other, and it's become clear that she only ever wants help and is not willing to help. I told her that I will not be hosting her engagement party and will not do her any favors anymore. She called, and we got into a huge argument where I called her selfish and she called me petty. I want an outsider's opinion, because I'm pissed about this whole thing. In the comments, Redacts Attract says, there was a meme floating around Reddit this week which said, relationships are not transactional, but they are reciprocal. Remember that the next time you want to tell somebody that you don't owe them shit. Got me thinking on it all week. I truly think people forget that you have to give back if you want people to help you in the future. You can't just take all the time. The whole you don't have to do shit for anyone is true, but live with no one ever wanting to help you if you act that way. She doesn't deserve a dinner. Tell her that you need to relax that night. Just say due to unexpected daycare costs, you are unable to host. Actions have consequences. Don't say the problem is money if it wouldn't actually be solved by money. Someone could offer you money to resolve it, and then you're the one who looks like an asshole if you still refuse. I've been affected by a car crash like that before on a day in which I really needed to be where I was trying to go. And let me tell you, whatever it is that is on your mind that's pissing you off is going to be amplified 100 times over, because not only are you sitting in traffic that is non-stop, you have nothing else to think about but that. It is incredibly hard to drown out whatever negative emotions you're feeling when you are forced to sit with those thoughts in traffic that you are having to pay attention to because you have to move every now and then. Already pissed off by that, now my anger at this other situation is amplified so much more because of this. OP so easily could have phoned up their sister and screamed at them down the phone. Because I know so many people would do that. They would let their emotions out on this person that could so easily help, but is choosing not to. They are choosing to actively hurt someone that they should be reciprocating the actions of. And those people that scream down the phone at people like the sister here, I don't blame them at all. I 100% see where you're coming from, and they deserve to be screamed at and much more for doing something this selfish. It's incredible how actions have consequences. Oh no. Our next post is by a deleted account titled, "I don't want my sister's boyfriend to propose on my wedding day. But everyone is against me, and my mum said I was ungrateful because my parents are paying for the wedding. The wedding is on Saturday, and they just told me that last Monday. This was going to be a part of his speech. I said no, so my mum suggested that instead of tossing the bouquet, I would go and give it to her like on TikTok, and he would propose. I said no. My mum got angry when I still said please no, because this suggestion would be at the end of my party anyway, and wouldn't steal from my party. I'm not good at writing these things, so I'm sorry if I'm leaving out plenty, but I can't stop crying. Am I the asshole here? Sometimes I feel that I am, and sometimes I feel that I'm not. I want to stay anonymous, so I will not be answering questions about my location or names." Additional information from OP on growing up with her sister at their parents' house. OP says, "Yes, I've never had a birthday of my own growing up, but my sister would get a cake, candles, and gifts. And then people refused to buy gifts for both of us, so my parents divided the gifts between us. When I was 12, my aunt was very angry that they gave her gift to my sister instead of me. So next birthday, they hid all of the gifts from other people and gave them to me after the party without my sister's knowledge because people refused to share the gifts between us. That was my last birthday that I celebrated until I moved out. I told them that I didn't want birthdays nor gifts anymore, just pancakes for breakfast." In the comments, Peanut says, "If I was a woman and my boyfriend proposed to me at my sister's or anyone's wedding, that would be a swift no in front of everyone who matters to him." OP says, "It was something she showed interest in and her boyfriend got the gesture." Wait, your sister wants her boyfriend to propose at your wedding? I mean, I'm already on your side and you're not the asshole. OP says, "That's what I understood from my mum. I asked her why they would even think my sister wants to be proposed to like that, and she says that she has shown and hinted to her boyfriend that she would love that because everyone would witness it." OP on if her sister is younger than her, and if their mother is calling the sister her favorite one. OP says she is 3 years younger, yes. And no, I've always known that she's the favorite, but now they aren't even denying it. Pale Wishbone says, "Get your husband to say in his speech how pleased he is that his beautiful wife is getting her special day, and anyone planning on spoiling that by announcing babies, proposing, or even just football results can leave now. Then he will look like an asshole if he does it. Also, make sure the bouquet goes anywhere but to your sister, and prime the DJ to switch the mic off if he tries. You need to fight fire with fire. Also, kick them out if they do it. Have security ready. Not the asshole. Just cancel the wedding, waste their money, save and pay for yourself. Do it your way." OP says, "I can't cancel the wedding. It would be very disrespectful to everyone who took the time and effort to attend. My friends and family, my husband's family. I love these people, you know. Not my mum and my sister's boyfriend very much at the moment, though." OP on if there would be an open mic at the wedding and responds to preventing the proposal from happening. No, but besides the maid of honor and best man and parents, it is Free Mike, and I guess my mother would call him up is the plan. We are definitely cancelling the Free Mike. And now, on to the update. Hi, I'm sorry for not updating earlier. This is my update. My husband and I read all the comments on my post, and I want to thank you for your indignation on our behalf. My husband said that this probably would be the reaction everywhere, not only on my post. So we decided them embarrassing themselves was the best punishment. We decided to say, fuck it. I'm marrying my best friend, nothing else matters. I ignored my family for the rest of that week. Up until my wedding, my husband and I were busy anyway. I saw them first at my wedding. My mother made her speech, then she asked my, I guess future brother-in-law now, to join her. He proposed, and literally 2 or 3 people clapped besides my mother, sister, and blank. The rest looked like the meme girl, side-eyeing Chloe, so my husband was right. After the awkwardness, the rest of the evening was amazing. I spent it with my husband and close friends. My sister, fiancé, and mum sat sulking for the rest of the night because I don't think anyone went to congratulate them. Mum sent me a text later asking if I sabotaged it. I didn't answer because, leave me alone. I'm on my honeymoon. I don't want drama, but I also don't care what she believes. I will not explain myself. It is not my problem how little self-awareness they have that they don't even understand what they did was actually frowned upon by normal people. Thank you. In the comments, Nightmare Gerbil says, it's like the mum and sister forgot that half the guests are the same people who had to hide Opie's birthday gifts to keep the sister from stealing them. They already knew the golden child was going to try to steal the spotlight and were ready for it. And the other half of the people who don't know them, why the hell would anyone in that audience enthusiastically applaud this action? But self-centered people are gonna self-centered. That's the craziest part to me. Sure, there's families there, but a decent amount of the crowd are unrelated friends. If I wanted to be proposed to in front of a group of people, they would all need to be my friends, not my sister's friends. What an amazing group of guests. For them to collectively deny the sister and boyfriend their applause and encouragement is astonishing. I'm glad that OP got the satisfaction that it was her day and her husband's, not her sister's and mum's. The crowd has spoken. I think my first reaction would be to look at the bride and groom. If they're smiling happily like this was planned, I'm cheering for the newly engaged couple. Otherwise, I'm looking like Chrissy Teigen in that audience image. Yeah, my brother was talking to me about how he was going to propose to his girlfriend, but wanted to wait until 2 weeks after my wedding so he didn't take the focus off of us. My future wife overheard that and told him that since we were going to be at Disney World for a combined bachelor-bachelorette party before the wedding, he can do it there. She helped him plan a carriage ride under the Magic Kingdom fireworks for the proposal. This was all because everyone involved loves and respects each other. And that's all I have for you today, guys. I do hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.